Good evening. Just confirm me. Am I audible to you? Just make sure that everything is perfect from my side. You can hear me, right? Okay, fine. Let's start our today's class. See, in yesterday's class, we have discussed the muscle system, muscular system, right? So in today's class, we are going to deal with the sense organs, particularly eye and ear will be mentioned in your syllabus. So before we enter into our sense organs of today's class, I want to show you the picture of the ultra structure of the muscle. Okay. See, this is what a muscular system is. We have studied an A band, I band, and I band, H zone, and Z disc. See, as we studied in yesterday's class, this Z disc, that is Z line, will be the boundaries of the sarcomere, which is the one which is supporting the thin filaments. Okay, and what is sarcomere? This is what a basic functional unit of a myofibril. And what is dark band? This is a band is a dark band, and where the thin and thick filaments are getting overlapping. And I band is the one flanking on the Z disc, and H zone will be the middle part of the A band, and M line will be the middle line of the sarcomere, which is the one holding the thick filaments together. Okay, see, just listen to the picture now. So myosin, we are saying that myosin as a thick filament and actin as a thin filament. Now, see this A band. And where exactly the myosin is located and where exactly the actin is located. This is what an actin and this is a myosin. See where it is the H zone. H zone will be the middle part, central part of the A band. Okay, so this is what a picture how it looks like. Okay, this myosin is the one. This actin has the myosin binding site where the head of the myosin is getting bind to the actin, right? This is what an ultra structure of the muscle. Now comes to today's class. So this is what an anatomy of the human eye. Okay, and the most important parts of the human eye will be mentioned in this picture. Okay, what are all the important parts in the human eye will be the ciliary body, and this ciliary body will be just behind the iris. Okay, iris is the one connecting the lens together, and this is what an anterior chamber in front of the lens, and this is what a pupil. This is the centerpiece of the lens. And what is cornea? And this cornea will be the structure which is present in front of the anterior chamber. And this is what a lens is. This is a lens through which we can see the world. Now, this is what a sclera, the outer layer, and the middle layer will be the retina, and the inner layer will be the macula. Okay, see, and this structure, red color will be the vitreous humor. Now, and the thing which is connecting the eye will be here. It will, the eyes will be definitely, it has to be circulated with blood, and that will be definitely carried through the artery and vein. And what is that? The nerve which is present in the eye is, it's called the optic nerve. And the rectus medialis, this is what a structure called the rectus medialis, and the structure behind the lens is called as the ora serrata. Okay, now these are all the important features present in our human eye. Now let's discuss a little bit detail. Okay, and what is cornea? Cornea will be the transparent front part of the eye. So the front part of the eye will be the cornea. And what is the function of the cornea? Refracts the light entering the eye. It is the one refracting. Refracting means refraction is different, reflection is different. See, this is a wall. Reflection means the light getting incident in the wall, and it has been reflected. This is what a process of reflection. Now this is the wall. Now this is an incident radiation. Now it is getting past the wall. Now this is called as the refraction. So the process of the function of cornea will be the refraction of the light. Okay, iris. Iris will be the colored part of the eye which surrounds the pupil. See, just see this. This is the iris, and which is it is the pupil. So the iris will be getting surrounded the pupil. And what is the function of the iris will be it controls the diameter of the pupil, thus regulating the amount of light that thus enters the eye. Okay, so this is the one regulating how much amount of light that has to be enter into the eye. Okay, now what is pupil? Pupil is the part which is the opening in the center of the iris. Okay, the opening of the iris will be the pupil. Now, what is the function of the pupil? Means this is the one allows the light to enter the eye. See, the function of cornea will be the refraction of light, and iris will be controlling how much amount of light that has to be entered into the eye. And the function of the pupil will be the maximum amount of light that getting allowed into the eye by the structure called the pupil. And lens will be the transparent biconvex. It is not concave, it is convex structure that is present behind the iris. Now, what is the function of the lens? It is the one focusing the light into the retina, the most important structure. Ultimately, the light has to be reach the retina, and that is passed through the structure called the lens. Now, what is retina? It is a light sensitive layer which is present at the back of the eye. So, where is the retina here? This is the retina. It is not present in the front of the eye, it is present in the back of the eye. Okay, so what is the function of this retina? It is the one converting the light into the neural signals. Okay, now what is the function of the neural signals? Definitely, it has to be reach the brain so that the brain can perform the function. Okay, so it ultimately all the signals has to be reach the brain so that we can react to that stimuli. Now, what is macula? It is the central part of the retina. And what is the function of the macula? This is the one responsible for the central vision and a high acuity vision. The vision has to be crystal clear, and that has been maintained by the macula. And what is fovea? It is a small depression in the macula. A structure called a macula, it has a small depression, and that structure, that place is called as a fovea. And what is the function of the fovea? Means a sharpest vision. It provides a sharpest vision, cleared vision. Now, optic nerve. As we see, this is the nerve which is present at the back side of the eye. Now, it is a nerve at the back of the eye. Now, this is the one transmits the visual information from the retina, and this is the nerve which takes to the brain. Okay, now what is vitreous humor and aqueous humor? Vitreous humor is a gel-like substance that fill the eye. Okay, it is what a vitreous humor. Aqueous humor will be the clear fluid in front part of the eye. Okay, it is the vitreous humor. Okay, now see, vitreous humor is the one maintains the shape of the eye. Okay, and optical properties. Now, optical property means, see, the term which is related to the eye is called as the optical nerve. See, when we purchase a glass, the showroom name called the optics. Okay, and the nerve which is related to the eye is called as the optic nerve. So optic, the word relates to the eye, right? Now, aqueous humor, it is the fluid which present in front of the eye. And what is the purpose of having this aqueous humor? Means it is the one providing the nutrients to the eye and maintain the intraocular pressure. It is the one maintaining the pressure, and it is the one also provides nutrients to the eye. So these are all the important structures. Now, what is sclera? It is a white part of the eye. See, we have a dark color in our eye, and we have white color also, and that white part of the eye is called as a sclera. And what is the function of this sclera? It is the one protects the eye and provides attachment to the extraocular muscle. The muscle it is getting attached to the eye with the help of the sclera. And what is choroid? Choroid is nothing but it is a layer which contains a blood vessels. In the white part of the eye, we can find the blood vessels. Okay, and that structure is called as the choroid, and it is the structure which is present between the retina and the sclera. Okay, so all these description is very important. And what is the function of the choroid? It is the one provides oxygen and nutrients to the outer layer of the retina, as it is present between the retina and the sclera. So the entire retina is getting under the control of the choroid. It is the one giving nourishment to the retina. Right? Now, what is ciliary body? Ciliary body is nothing but it contains a ciliary muscle and ciliary process. Then what is the function of the ciliary body? It is also controlling the shape of the lens. Okay, and produces the aqueous humor. See, aqueous humor is the one providing nutrients and it is the one maintains the pressure, and that is getting produced by the ciliary body, right? Now, conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is a thin membrane. It is present, it is the one covering the front of the eye and it is aligning the inside of the eyelids. Conjunctiva is the one protection of the eye, okay, and it is protects the eye and provides lubrication. See, always the eye is filled with a watery fluid, okay. See, if it is not having any water in the eye, it is very sensitive to the external dust, okay. So it is getting protected by the conjunctiva because it makes the eye it makes the eye lubricate, okay. So it protects the eye. Now, what is eyelid? It is, we know that what is the eyelid? It is a fold of a skin that covers and protects the eye. It is the one helping to spread the tears and remove the debris. Okay. And what is eyelashes? We know that the hair that is called as the eyelashes. It is also, see, we have a hair in nostrils and we also having a hair. We are calling them as the eyelashes. And what is the purpose of all these hairs? To protect the structure from the debris and dust. Okay. And what is extraocular muscles? Extraocular muscles is a combination of 6 muscles that is present around the eye. So it is always the muscle is responsible for the contraction and relaxation of that particular part. Okay, so always it is the movement of the controls the movement of the eye. Now, what is tear ducts? See, we can get the tears only from the eye. No other part is responsible for the tear. So it definitely there has to be a structure which involved in the process of getting the tears out of the eye. So that structure is called as the tear ducts. We are also calling them as the lacrimal ducts. So the channels that drain tears from the eye into the nasal cavity. Okay. Now, the drain what is the function of this tear ducts? Definitely we know that it is the one the excess tears will be drained out of the eye to, what is the purpose of that? To maintain the moisture and clear the debris. Okay, so eye is very sensitive. We have to protect the eye. So these are all the mechanism performed by the body to protect our eye. Okay, now what is meibomian glands? This is what an eye gland along the edge of the eyelids. And what is the function of this gland is? It is the one produce oil that prevents the evaporation of the eye tears film. Okay, so these are all an important structures. Now, lens zonules. Okay, we are calling them as the suspensory ligaments. It is nothing but a fiber. It is a fiber which connects the ciliary body to the lens. So the structure which is connecting the ciliary body to the lens is called as the lens zonules. And what is the purpose of connecting the ciliary body to the lens means? So to hold the lens in place and facilitate changes in the lens shape for focusing. So if it is not having any connection between the ciliary body and the lens means we could not focus on particular thing so far, right? So that is the function performed by the suspensory filaments called the lens zonules. And what is ora serrata? It is a junction between the retina and the ciliary body. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of this ora serrata means? It marks the transition from photosensitive part of the retina to the non-photosensitive part of the retina. Okay, so we have two different regions in the retina, photosensitive and non-photosensitive. So this transition has been marked by a structure called the ora serrata. Okay, now pupil reflex. See, the automatic response that controls the size of the pupil. See, when we look at a particular thing, when we focus on particular thing, the pupil, the size of the pupil is getting enlarged. Okay, so that is the one we are calling them as the pupil reflex. So if somebody talks to you, if there's somebody involved in speaking to you, so you can see their pupil will be getting enlarged. Okay, when you are focusing on something, the pupil size will getting enlarged. So that is called as the pupil reflex. Now, what is the function of that? Why it has to be enlarged? What is the purpose of having this pupil reflex? It is the one adjusts the pupil size in response to the light intensity and focuses light on the retina. So based on the light, the pupil is getting reflex. Pupil is getting enlarged, right? Now, tapetum and lucidium, an important structure. See, this is called a reflective layer behind the retina in some animals, but it is not in the human. Okay. So what is the function of having this tapetum lucidum is to enhance the night vision. This structure has to be present in the nocturnal animals, which is active during at the night time. Okay. So humans are not basically a nocturnal animal. We are diurnal, right? So there is no point of having this tapetum lucidum for humans. Okay, so night vision, even it is dark, some animals can be have a great vision only because of this tapetum lucidum. Right now, what is photoreceptors? See, this is what differentiating the retina. See, as I said before, the retina is having a photosensitive region and non-photosensitive region. So why we have a two different region in retina? Because of the presence of the photoreceptors. And what is that photoreceptors? And rods and cone cells which is present in the retina. See, rod cells, the most important thing you have to make a note of it. See, these rod cells are responsible for vision in low light. Okay, and these cone cells are responsible for a colored vision. Okay, so you have to know that rod cells are black and white vision, and cone cells, this is the cell involved in differentiating colors. Right. So color blindness, if there is any drawback in the cone cells of the retina, it results in the color blindness. Now, brush membrane. So this is the structure which is related to the eye, right? Now, the innermost layer of the choroid, and which is lying next to the retinal pigment epithelium. And what is the function of this membrane? Always a membrane, it is going to support something. As it is lying next to the retinal pigment, definitely it has to support the retina and helps in the nutrient transport. Okay, this is what information related to the eye. We'll solve some of the questions from the eye, and after that we'll study about the ear. Okay, so answer quickly as soon as possible so that we can finish the ear also. Which part of the eye controls the amount of light that enters? Amount of light. It is the one act as a checkpoint, how much amount of light that has to be enter into the eye. Quick, quick. Why nobody is answering? Just now I have explained everything, right? See, I think someone is facing a network issue. Is there any problem? The amount of light that enter into the eye that has been controlled by the iris. Okay. See, the iris is the one involved in adjusting the size of the pupil. Why it has to regulate the size of the pupil means, so this is the one act as a checkpoint to regulate the amount of light that has to be enter into the eye, right? Now, what is the transparent front part of the eye that covers the iris and pupil? Transparent part of the eye that covers the iris and pupil. So which is the transparent part? That will be a cornea. Okay. Which layer is the eye contains a photoreceptor? Don't think too much for these questions. Okay. You have to finish here, and we have to solve questions related to ear also. That is nothing but a retina. That is, what is the photoreceptors? Rods and cone cells. So these photoreceptors is the one that detect the light that convert into the neural signal that has to be taken to the brain, and the nerve which is taking the signal to the brain is optic nerve. What is the function of a lens in the eye? What is the function of the lens? That has to focus light onto the retina. That is the main function of the uh, lens. Okay. Which is structure that connects the ciliary body to the lens? Ciliary body has to connect with the lens through a particular structure so that we can focus on things very clear. And the name of the structure will be the lens zonules. We are calling them as the suspensory ligaments also. What is the small central part of the retina responsible for sharp and central vision? And that will be fovea. Very good. It is a small depression that present in the macula, okay, which is the one provides a sharpest vision. And what fluid fills the anterior chamber of the eye? Which chamber fills the anterior, which fluid fills the anterior chamber of the eye? That will be aqueous humor. Okay, aqueous humor is a clear fluid. And what about the vitreous humor? It is a gel-like fluid. Okay, it is a clear fluid that is called aqueous humor. This is the one fills the anterior chamber and provides a nourishment and maintaining the intraocular pressure. Okay, which structure transmits a visual information from the retina to the brain? That will be optic nerve. What is the white part of the eye called? What is the white part of the eye called? White part of the eye. That will be sclera. Very good. And which cells in the retina are responsible for colored vision? Colored vision will be the cones. Okay. What part of the eye adjusts its shape to focus on near and distant objects? Which part of the eye adjusts its shape to focus on near and distant objects? It is the one making the pupil also to change its structure. And that will be lens. See, this is the one changes the shape according to the light to focus the light from near and distant objects onto the retina, right? Now, what is the primary function of the vitreous humor? What is the primary function of the vitreous humor? That has to be maintain the shape of the eye and properties related to eye. And what part of the eye is responsible for the eye's ability to see in low light condition? Low light condition. That will be a rods, definitely. Where is the blind spot in the eye located? Blind spot. And why we are calling them as the blind spot? Any idea? See, this blind spot, it is somewhat related to the optic disc. So this is the area where we can find no photoreceptor. We find no rods and cone cells. So that is why we are calling them as the blind spot, through which the nerves, that is optic nerve, will enter and exit into the eye. Right? That is what, very good. No photoreceptors. That is why we are calling them as the blind spot. Okay, so it is exactly located in optic disc. Don't get confused with that. And which part of the eye contains blood vessels that nourishes the retina? That will be choroid. Okay, it is a vascular layer. Why? Because it is provided with blood vessels, so that the oxygen can also be oxygen supply and nutrient supply. Everything will be present, can be transferred through the blood vessels, and that will be present in the choroid. So we are calling this choroid as a vascular structure, vascular layer, right? Now, which part of the, okay, that's all about the question related to eye. Now come back to the concept of ear. So when it comes to the ear, we can classify the ear into three different types: inner ear, middle ear, and outer ear. So what I'm stressing you people, you have to read what are all the structure it is related to the inner ear. So see, eustachian tube, cochlear nerve, vestibular nerve, and cochlea. So these are all the important structures. It is present in the inner ear. And in middle ear, we have a malleus, incus, and stapes. So these are all the cartilaginous bone which is present in the ear. Okay, malleus, incus, and stapes, and semicircular canals, tympanic cavity, tympanic membrane. This is the membrane, we are calling them as the eardrum. So these are all the structures related to the middle ear. Now, cartilage, external acoustic meatus, temporal bone, temporal muscle, helix, scapa, triangular fossa, antihelix, concha, and auricular lobe. We are calling them as the ear lobe. So these are all the structures which is present in the outer ear. So if you segregate like this means it will be very easy for you to remember all these things now related to the outer ear. So this is the ear. It is composed of auricle, that is pinna and ear canal. Okay, outer ear is composed of an auricle and an ear canal. And what is the function performed with this outer ear means it collects and direct sound waves to the ear canal. It is the one getting all the sound waves, and it has to be transferred to the ear canal. Okay, and what is auricle? So we have studied outer ear is composed of auricle and ear canal. So what is auricle? We are calling them as the pinna. So this is what an auricle, pinna. Okay. Now, the visible part of the ear. If you find something, if you see someone, a visible part will be the pinna. Okay, and it is the one helps to capture the sound waves and funnel them into the ear canal. So what is the function performed by the pinna is getting the sound waves, and that has to be transferred to the ear canal. And ear canal, it is the one external auditory meatus. It is a tube-like structure leading the outer ear to the eardrum, which is present in the middle ear. Eardrum is nothing but a tympanic membrane. So this is the one transmit the sound waves to the eardrum. Okay. Now middle ear, and what are all the structures? What is the function of this middle ear? It is an air-filled space. Okay, it is contained three small bones, and that is combinedly called as the ossicles. And what is the function of this middle ear? See, outer ear is getting getting these sound waves and it has to be transferred to the middle ear. Now, what is the function of the middle ear? It has to amplify. Amplify means what? It has to increase the sound waves. It has to amplify and transmit the sound wave from the eardrum, that is tympanic membrane, to the inner ear. Okay. Now, what is tympanic membrane? What it is doing? It is a thin membrane actually. This is the one vibrates in response to the sound waves. It is the one vibrates in response to the sound waves. And this tympanic membrane, it is the one converting the sound waves to the mechanical vibration. So, it is an important structure. Okay. Now, what is ossicles? These three bones we are calling, we know that cartilage bone will be present in our ear, eyes, and our nose, ear, and in some of our body structure. And the most three important bones, malleus, incus, and stapes. So, all these have another names also. Malleus is called as the hammer, incus is anvil, stapes is called the stirrup. So these are all the three bones. We are called them as the ossicles, and this is are present in the middle ear. And what is the function performed by these tiny bones? This is the one: transmit, amplify the vibrations from the inner eardrum to the inner ear. And what is Eustachian tube? And this is a canal-like structure that connects the middle ear to the throat. Okay, this is also an important structure. Now, this is the what is the function performed by this Eustachian tubus? It is the one equalizes the air pressure on both the sides of the eardrum. So, ear is also known for its balance. Okay, heat balance. Okay, so that has to be done by the Eustachian tube. Okay, I hope you all know that ear is involved in the process of balance. So, what is the important structure that maintains that balance is Eustachian tube. That is the one equalizes the air pressure on both the sides of the eardrum. Now, what is inner ear and what are the structure which consist of the inner ear? Cochlea, vestibule, and semicircular canals, auditory nerve, and balance. Okay, so these are all the structure related to the inner ear. And what is the function of the inner ear? So already the sound waves has been converted into a mechanical vibration. Now these vibration definitely that has to be converted into a neural signals that has to be taken to the brain. And also this inner ear is the one helps in maintaining balance. So it is also an important thing. You have to remember that. Now what is cochlea? It is a spiral shaped organ filled with a fluid and lined with the hair cells. So we know that we have air find in our nose and also in our ear. And what is the function of this air? Just to avoid with the, just to take all the dust. Now, this cochlea is the one converting the mechanical vibrations into the electrical signals. Only if it is converted into an electrical signals, it has been transferred through one neuron to the another neuron. Finally, it has to reach the brain. Okay, to interrupt as a sound. Now, what is vestibule? It is the central part of the inner ear, and what it contains? It contains a receptors. Okay, for the static equilibrium. Once again, equilibrium means what? Maintaining a balance. Now, semicircular canals. A semicircular canal is a three loop-shaped structure. It is positioned at the right angles to each other. Right angles means what it is? Looks like this. It is what? A perpendicular structure. Now, what is the function of having the semicircular canal? Means it detects the rotational movement. Okay. See, as it is a loop shaped, it detects the rotational movement of the head and maintain a dynamic equilibrium, balance during movement. Okay, now auditory nerve. This is the nerve which carries the sound information from the cochlea. Finally, it has to reach the brain, and that will be done by the nerve which is called as the auditory nerve. Just like the function performed with the optic nerve in eye, the same function will be done by the auditory nerve also. Now, this is the one transmit the auditory signals. Finally, it has to reach the brain. Now, vestibular system, that is vestibular balance system. It includes the vestibule and the semicircular canals. Finally, it is also related to the balance. Now, coming to the question. Okay, we have only 5 more minutes, so kindly answer quick first. Which part of the ear collects and directs sound waves into the ear canal? And for that, you should know the ear canal will be the part of middle ear or outer ear or inner ear. so that it can be easy for you to deduct the answer. Very good. That will be the auricle pinna. So this is the visible part of the ear, and this ear canal will be the part of the outer ear. Okay. Now, what is the function of the tympanic membrane? Tympanic membrane is nothing but an eardrum. And what is the function of this eardrum? The most important structure, and it is related to the middle ear. That will be converting a sound waves into the mechanical vibrations. What are the three tiny bones in the middle ear? Malleus, incus, and stapes. Okay. So kindly make a note of this other name also. Okay. There may be a possibility. Don't take any chance. That's all. A roll of Eustachian tube. What is the role of Eustachian tube? And this is the one equalizes the air pressure to the on both sides of ear. And you know that this Eustachian tube, it is a part of a middle ear. And where are these sound vibrations converted into an electrical signals for the brain to interpret as sound? The brain has to sense that something we are hearing, and that will be done by that will be cochlea. Okay, so which part of the ear helps to maintain balance and spatial orientation, which is involving in maintaining balance and spatial orientation? 3 more minutes. That will be vestibular system. Okay, vestibular system is nothing but a combination of vestibule and semicircular canals. Okay, both the structures are involved in maintaining balance. Now, what connects the middle ear to the throat? What connects the middle ear to the throat? That will be good. Okay, that will be an Eustachian tube. And what is the main function of the semicircular canals? That will be detect a rotational movement of the head. Okay, good. Central part of the inner ear are called. What is the central part of the inner ear? So when it comes to the ear and eye, you have to know what are all the structures present in ear as well as in eye and what is their function. Okay, that is sufficient. As a one-liner, it is more than sufficient to answer the question if they ask from the inner ear and eye. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, what is the central part of the inner ear? That will be a vestibule. Okay, don't get confused. Okay. Which part of the ear is involved in amplifying and transmitting a sound waves from the eardrum to the inner ear? Quick, quick. We have less than 1 minute. That will be middle ear because it contains the ossicles. This is the bone, the three bones that are involving in amplifying and transmitting the sound waves. Now, which nerves carries the sound information from the cochlea to the brain? Quick, quick. That will be an auditory nerve. Okay. Now, the part of the ear that vibrates in response to the sound waves is That will be a tympanic membrane. This is the one vibrates. See, the most important structure, you should not forget this. So for tomorrow's class, you have to read and come the excretory system. Okay. Excretory system will be your tomorrow's test. So kindly read and come that. So what is the function of the auricle?